Greetings and salutations, my dear audience. This is Joe St. Egg Benedict. Just coming at you with a video of All Saints in time for All Saints. This video is being published around All Saints in 2021, but it'll apply to every day of the year, especially All Saints. So let's jump right in as we chart the course with showing my very small, little bit small collection of some books by the saints that I've been collecting. I only started collecting a few years ago. That's why it's so small. But I want to give a shout out to my pal Mike and to all the visionaries and mystics out there. Thank you for joining me. The first book that I want to show is a book by a 15th century German saint by the name of Thomas à Kempis. He's the wee little me imitation of Christ. No, he's not German. He's not Irish. He's German. Anyway, I picked up this little Imitation of Christ some time ago at the used bookstore. It's by the Confraternity of Precious Blood, published in 1982. It has this vinyl cover, but it's very small, as you can see. Very tiny. They tried to charge $6.50 for this at one point, but I got it for a whopping 25 cents. It's a pretty cool book. Imitation of Christ is Thomas à Kempis's most famous book. It is considered one of those classics like Pilgrim's Progress and Fox's Book of the Martyrs and so on and so forth. So it's one that really can be read by anyone, not just Catholics, Protestants as well. I read this in college and really got a lot out of it. I used to have a bigger version, and for some reason I couldn't find it. Can't find it. Haven't been able to find it since I moved here 5 years ago. And I bought a nice Imitation of Christ, and I thought I had the other one, and I sent that one to a friend, Thrift Store Bibles possibly. And I realized I didn't have my old copy, so I had to pick up this. But this is just fine. It's a small copy, so easy to read. Check out this action-packed picture of Jesus it has in the front. First of all, it has a forward. It was originally published in 1954, this version, but this is actually from 1982. But check out this action-packed Jesus. You ready? Hoopah! Check that out. Very, action-packed. You got almost like the comic book, like action lines around here. I am the way. And it just includes these little pictures. Very, very cool wood blocks. I really appreciate the pictures. Pictures are pretty cool. I know I'm being silly, but they are really nice. You have two books in the Imitation of Christ. And this one, again, just a nice addition. It has this blue font for the letter here, and then the headings. Nice contemporary picture. Just very cool. At the end, it has some really nifty, Catholic pictures. Look at this one. That's Isaac and Abraham. But the ones in the back, like this guy, Jesus with a disciple with the chalice. But then you get into the sacrament. Where are we? I'm not doing so good here. Everything has a sacrament at the end. I'm trying to get to the one that. Let's see here. Oh yeah, right here. See, you have the priest, and then Jesus is there at the table. And then you turn the page. And then there's another one with Jesus hanging over the giving of the Mass. So I think that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty neat. It's a very small edition, as I mentioned, but I like it. Imitation of Christ, again, published in the 15th century, so 1400s, early 1400s actually, and has been a classic ever since. Okay, I'm going to put that up there. Oh, I forgot two more books. All right. Okay, next book is by a French mystic by the name of Francis de Sales. He was a bishop in Geneva during the time of the Reformation, so 16th century. He wrote this introduction to a devout life. Again, very good book. This is actually one of my favorite books out of my collection of the saints. You have a picture of the saint there, and also by Catholic Book Publishing, and a very handy-dandy leather soft cover. Comes with a nice ribbon that matches the cover. Nice little monogram here. Published pretty recently. I picked it up pretty recently. New, actually. Published in 2013. And it just has these short chapters with little devotionals. So different things. You can see I went through this. Just really like this one. It was easy to read, very practical, not highfalutin or hoity-toity like some others. This is an abridged copy, and I just really, really loved it. He wrote this for several monasteries, and it just became an instant classic. It does have an introduction to his life. There's the life of St. Francis de Sales in the back, another picture, and a prayer. And some of these have services for the saints, for the feast days, and then some pretty cool advertisements in the back, which I really like. I like advertisements. I think it's funny. One of the things about this is you'll notice that it's kind of ripping over here. So it's, I used it. So what can I say? All right. So this one is one of my favorites. I just really like it. All right. Next book is my most current, I think one of my most current saints, Saint Maria Faustina, Kowalska. She's a Polish saint, and wrote this diary in the late 20s, early 30s. I did a review on this book, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but she had a vision of this picture, and she commissioned an artist to draw it. And this is basically her diary. Though this is the most contemporary saint that I have, it's the most complicated book that I have. You'll see it's a really nice cover, has that artwork on the front, has the one ribbon, gilded edging. So it's a very nice, handsome cover. Nice, soft, creamy paper. And it does include her life and several other tools. One of the things I do like this, now that I think of it, it has these pictures in the back. There she is, an actual photograph, some pictures of her home, her family, and just various historical pictures. So I think that's pretty cool. It's, I like the history behind it. A lot of pictures, several pages. There's the actual artwork and how it's incorporated in some of the liturgy there, and just all kinds of fun stuff. And there's kind of her saint picture. All right, pretty cool, I think. But again, it's very complicated to read. I actually gave up on it. It was very complicated, and I put it on my shelf before I finished it. Next is a very familiar one, St. Patrick, his Confession and Other Works. St. Patrick is best known for his breastplate prayer, but he actually wrote several things, several letters, an autobiography. This is a very nice copy. As you can see, it's a green fake leather copy. It has the gold letters here on the side. Black ribbon that I added. So this ribbon is not original. I added that. But it has this green edging, as you can see. There's the ISBN number. Open it up. It has the green liner to go with the green. There's a picture of St. Patrick. St. Patrick is one of my favorite saints. He wrote during the 5th century. Of course, taken a slave to the Celts up in Ireland. He, when he was a young boy, a shepherd boy, or put to work as a shepherd, he escaped and then heard God's call to go back to the Celts and to convert them, and so therefore converted along with Saint Bridget and Saint Columba, the islands of Ireland, some of Scotland, and of course England. This is a great edition. I really love it. It's a newer translation. It has, like I said, an autobiography of St. Patrick, a letter by him. It has his prayers. It also has several modern day things, like this is a homily on St. Patrick, or about St. Patrick, of Pope John Paul II. His prayers at the end. And it's just a great edition, I think. There's also a official Mass of St. Patrick for the feast day, and I think it's really cool. Again, it's not very well made, but I really just like the edition. I think it's really sharp. I keep it on my desk, and when I need to pray the prayer of St. Patrick, the breastplate prayer, I do. Next two books are a set, so I'll show them twice, and really, let me see. Going on 9 minutes. Okay. These two I got from a monastery that I used to live near. It's by Paraclete. It's called the Paraclete Essentials Deluxe Editions. So it's this embossed leather, soft or pleather. Revelations of Divine Love by Julian of Norwich, who is a 14th century mystic from England, Norwich, England. She was a hermit, lived in a hermitage at least, and had a very intimate, passionate, vision-driven relationship with Christ, and recorded her prayers and thoughts. She was very sickly, if I remember correctly, and so saw her sickness as a way of relating to the suffering Christ. And her writing is very, very powerful. These deluxe editions really give you kind of a bang for the buck. There are no ribbons, but it has the nice cover with the embossed print, and then the edge, the paper down liner is creamy color to match the cover. This one is published in, looks like 2011 by the Order of Julian of Norwich. It includes her revelations, an introduction, notes for the introduction, and several translators' notes. You really have to be, I don't want to say courageous, but you really have to be in the spirit to read this. It's easy to read, but if you're not filled with the Spirit and you're just looking for a book to read of a historical figure, you're going to have a hard time. It's extremely spiritual. She is, after all, a mystic. The second book in the deluxe series that I have is The Rule of St. Benedict. This is a paraphrase edition, so it's an updated translation, easy to read, and paraphrased and abridged. Also by Paraclete. This one published in 2012. Saint Benedict wrote in the 6th century, and he wrote what's called the Rule of Saint Benedict, which set up a regimen for monasteries at that time, also known as the Rule of Saint Benedict, my own patron saint here on the channel, and in the Egg Benedictus community. And this particular edition has the abridged version, but tries to update the language so that you can actually read the rule and put it into practice in modern day life. So it's a neat edition like that. It has a further reading chapter here. It also has an introduction at the front, and then it has discussion guide, questions, and helps so that you can get it. It also gives you the other two books, the Confessions of St. Augustine and the one I just showed you, the Revelation of Divine Love. So it's a very cool edition. I added the ribbon, so that's not original. All right, the next two books were gifts, and I'm so grateful for these gifts. One is from one of our fans here, Rachel Carslake, gifted me with a spiritual Psalter, or Reflections of God, by St. Ephraim the Syrian. And you can see this is it's like a I don't know if it's leather. It's not leather. It's like a vinyl over board. It has the nice gold print here with a gold ribbon. I'm assuming she picked it up new. It has really cool vinyl-y cloth over paste down liner. So I'm not too familiar with this one because I did get it in the mail recently, and I haven't read through it yet. Looks like it's a translation from 1990. Here's the old Saint Ephraim of Syrian Syria. Let's see here. Bishop Theophan regarded his compilation from the writings of Saint Ephraim a favorite in pre-revolutionary Holy Russia as amongst his most valuable. So it looks like it's a Russian saint. Let's see. Just as Saint David is the foremost psalmist among the prophets, so is Saint Ephraim the foremost author of prayers among the Holy Fathers. His soul could not contemplate any divine subject without becoming enraptured and a prayerful outpouring of feelings. From earlier times, works in dogma have pointed to the Psalter. So this is the Psalms, basically prayers of Saint Ephraim. I'm sorry I don't have the date of when he wrote. Again, I don't know too much about it, but you'll see he wrote these Beatitudes and then Psalms, and I haven't read it, but look at this beautiful print. Red and black with these beautiful this beautiful iconography on each psalm, and just a really you can see the red, just a really nice addition. Thus, we have 150 works divided into 20 sections as the Psalter, which is 20 kathismas. I think it's just Greek Orthodox, tell you the truth. That must be what it is, Greek Orthodox. Bishop Theophan, the recluse from the works of our Holy Father, St. Ephraim the Syrian. So, I mean, it would be Eastern Orthodox, and I think that's where we get it from. Thank you so much, Rachel. This is an amazing book. It has the gold, very pretty gilded edge. Just appreciate it. Looking forward to reading it. The next one is from Moving About, Manipulating Objects, another fan of the channel. This one he sent by my request. I'm so grateful he did because I didn't think he was going to let it go. St. Meinrad, the prayer book. It has this beautiful Greek cross, 2 ribbons, red and black. Nice hardcover. Let's get into it. There's St. Meinrad himself. Very cool picture. It's kind of a clear paper. All right, let's see. So this was published in 1995. And again, I'm not too familiar with this one either. So I have to look up the history of it. Includes some music. Includes these beautiful calligraphy on these pages. So Meinrad was born about 797, that's 8th century, noble Alemannic parents from southwestern Germany. The region of his birth was known as Silligud, I don't know how to say that, located between present-day Rutenberg and Tübingen. When he was old enough, his father brought him to a Benedict abbey on the island of Reichenau and Lake Constance to be educated. All right, so became abbot of Reichenau in 822. He encouraged Meinrad to consider the monastic life. So 8th century, that's really early. Not as early as St. Benedict, of course, or St. Patrick, but nevertheless pretty early on in the medieval period. Again, I haven't spent much time with this, but it's such a beautiful copy. I look forward to getting to know it better. It's beautiful calligraphy there with the red printing. There's the Apostles' Creed, know that well, the Our Father. Okay, Benedictus from Luke. So it looks like a prayer book organized for worship, perhaps organized by this saint. So I look forward to reading this, looking through it, and really getting some use out of it. We have various prayers, thematic index. All right. And just a nice collection. St. Meinrad prayer book. So again, I have to kind of familiarize myself with this and learn how to use it, see how to use it, and go from there. Some of it's scripture, some of it's familiar, and some of it's very basic, but very cool prayer book. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Mamo. So as we can see, in time for All Saints Day, that I've been collecting various books on the saints and from the saints, trying to get these nicer editions rather than, you can get like Penguin books, that are secular, other books, but I'm trying to get a more nicer collection with more meaning that has to do more with how they're bound and just the writing as I do use them for spiritual use and devotional use, and just really think that visionaries and mystics are a wonderful way to learn more about the faith, to be inspired, to follow Christ. Remember, the saints are merely heroes and heroines of our faith to point us to the Christ that they loved and followed, leaving us behind gifts of their writing, gifts of their heart, gifts of their vision of Christ, and inspire us to go further and beyond them, to be enraptured in communion with the saints, that we too may someday fall into the communion of the saints when Jesus calls us home as well. I hope and pray that you are finding yourself enraptured by Christ and have a personal relationship with Him, and hope you have a great day.